There's not a lot of things that I've been able to promise my entire life, but this is not one of those things. I promise you that if you do this, and you're able to pull off what I've been working on, you will go viral. You will be able to jumpstart a YouTube career, and you will skyrocket yourself to the top of the old school RuneScape community. There is nothing in the universe that would stop that from happening. Nothing. In this video, I'm going to break down how I plan to amass a fortune, create a viral moment, and kickstart a career with a massive in-game event. I know that's what you're here for, so I want to get into that. But before that, we need a little bit of background and a little bit of my personal journey. It's not going to be too long, I promise. It's just going to be, I feel like it's relevant context to this whole idea. So how I came up with the idea and why I wanted to pursue it was that I wanted to get into YouTube because old school RuneScape was a very large part of my life. Okay, so I wanted to give back in the best way possible. So my ideal was I wanted to accumulate $100,000 worth of RuneScape gold to become arguably the richest player in the game, and I wanted to do it without cheating because, like, what I see from the old school RuneScape community is the only people who have that kind of money are scammers or botters or cheaters. In some way, cheating is associated with having that type of wealth. And I did not want that because I needed this to be a clean, because this is to be viral, guarantee a viral moment, and you can't guarantee a clean viral moment without being clean yourself. So I didn't want to cheat to get into it because I didn't want to generate controversy. I wanted to get famous, not infamous, okay? So I grew up with RuneScape. I'm going to share a little bit about my personal story, why this is important. I grew up with RuneScape, and I didn't have any friends when I was a kid, and RuneScape was a medium for me to, like, have a social life. So before I had friends in real life, I had friends on RuneScape, and that's why I have a soft spot for the community and have a soft spot for RuneScape and why I've been playing for 24 years. Also, what I have noticed is that RuneScape helped me develop into the man I am today. Being able to grind, being able to solve problems, being able to, like, learn new things, because RuneScape's all about learning new things and learning new things to make more money. And if you learn new things, you get rewarded, and there's a constant feedback loop. So I have, like, so many different positive experiences with RuneScape, and that's why I wanted to do a big event, and I wanted to go into the old school RuneScape sphere, okay? So then, with my idea of amassing a massive amount of wealth and becoming the richest player, I also wanted to give back to the community. I wanted to really explode the idea, because I don't think that being rich would be enough, because it needed to be more. So the plan was get as rich as possible, say I'm the richest player in RuneScape, declare that on Reddit, get into a little bit of beef with people because they would call me out, and then I would show my bank in a screenshot. They would claim that I was faking the screenshot, and I said, you know what, I'll prove it by giving it all away, and then cue viral moment. Okay, so I would set, like, a date, maybe in a couple days, maybe a week, so then people would talk about it, have time to talk about it, and if I was going to do it or not, or if it was even real. And then I wanted to make this such a big event that maybe it would crash the world. Maybe popular players would get involved and stuff like that. But I wanted to make, you know what I mean? This is the biggest event that you can kind of imagine. And I know it would be a viral moment, and then you'd have your career. So why do I think that would be a viral moment? Now, what inspired me to come up with this type of idea is from my good buddy Mr. Beast here, my best friend in spirit. And I watched a bunch of his podcasts, and what he says kickstarted his career is really was giving money away. It was parabolic, and it was a large amount of money, $10,000. He says he tried $100,000 and it helped a little bit, but $10,000, $100,000, $1 million weren't really that different. So I chose the number 100 billion because if you convert that to USD based on street prices, it's about $20,000. Okay, so 100 billion. It's probably not the richest in the game, but it was a start. And if you doubt the power of giving money away to generate virality, let's just look here. We got 11 million views. And if we go to Mr. Beast's channel, he is doing crazy challenges in conjunction with giving a crazy amount of money away. Like surviving in the wilderness is not an equal exchange for $10,000 if you're being real here. And a lot of his videos, he is known for giving money away, and he is the number one. So there's a correlation there. It may not be directly causal, but it is at least a correlation. And I am willing to bet that it's causal. It's a causal relationship. So let me refer to my notes. 100 bill is not the end all be all, but it was a start. I'm sure there's players with trillions and trillions and trillions of gold on there, but 100 billion was a good place to start. Okay. So I needed to make wealth. Like I said, I had gotten into altscaping and I gotten into merching. Or maybe I didn't say that. Anyway, well, I got into altscaping and I got into merching. This is going to be kind of a rough cut video. I'm not trying to make a polished product. I'm just trying to give you the real plan and as best as I can in a short amount of time. So I got into merching and altscaping, and the best way I've determined that I was able to make money while also still working a full-time job was to trade. So I would trade. I would trade everything that you could think of. I would trade the high-value items. I would trade the low-value items. I would just trade and trade and trade. But I seemed to be stuck once the tax came out, and it kind of complicated things. So then I just moved to items that were under 100 just to uncomplicate it, and I could just passively make money with like oak logs, maple logs, willow logs, fire runes, air runes, jugs, fishing bait, feathers, etc. And I was experimenting with all those, and then I realized that the best turnover for items was the highest volume items in the game. So if we go look at those, fire rune, we have a trade volume so far today, it's only 3 o'clock my time, 100 million. But if we go to the prices of the front page, we got 128 million, 93 million, 76 million, 51 million, 46 million. And we see these margins here. 1 GP margins. That means there's 100 million profit waiting on the table for you. And I discovered that through buy limits that the rich merchers couldn't just inherently gobble up all of the profit by having endless supplies of cash because they were limited by stop holds on the market. Trade limits on the markets, that it was harder to manipulate. More people got to share. But this is where I started to realize that I could do some experiments. So I wanted to see what I could get if I traded multiple slots. And when I put in 3 slots of fire runes, I got more sales. I would usually never hit the 50Ks, but I did notice that I was hitting some 50Ks because if we look at the, there should be spikes here, like overnights. When the bots get a huge supply, they'll dump it all in one purchase, and they don't care because they stole money from the game, botting. So we can capture some of that. So the more slots I had open for when those 11 million dumps would happen or something like that, the more 50Ks I got. So then that's where it really started to go parabolic. I started to create more accounts. I started with 5, and then I was making about 30K a day per account. And I got to 10, and I started making, a lot more money per account. And it was easy trading. You'd log in once a week, and then you log back out. So okay, now we have our goal. We need 100 billion gold, and conventional money makers are not going to make it, so we need to trade GP. So there's like different alternate ways people make money, and there's like swapping and trading. But I decided to invest everything, all of my effort into trading. And I decided to invest all my effort into scaling up a free-to-play account operation, which is, in my opinion, the best way to generate income at a high scale because of the sheer volume of items coming into the game. Like the amount of runes exchanging hands allows for so much potential profit to be captured just because you're holding the cash for everybody. So you're pretty much getting paid to hold the cash while people are being paid to save time. That's the real, from what I determined, that is the real value of buying and selling fire, like runes and small items like that. You get paid for holding on to items so somebody else can get gold immediately. And then if somebody needs an item now, they'll pay a little bit more of a premium to save on the time. And then that in between is you. That's where your money comes in. And the best way to do that, there's very profitable ways to do that in the members worlds with a lot of different items and different accesses and stuff like that. But what I found out is the best moneymaker in the game is, unless I'm wrong here, free to play trading. Now, let me explain my journey. I worked on this project for multiple years, figuring out a lot of things, and I want to pass that along here because ultimately, why am I doing this? This is probably a good time. Why am I doing this? I was going to do this method, and this was going to be my YouTube breakout moment, but due to life and me raising my family and having a full-time job and a home and all these other responsibilities, I realized in my life that if I'm going to do something big, I'm only going to get one shot at that, and this probably isn't going to be the best idea for me. But I've invested years into this project, and I would like to pass that along to whoever maybe wants to try this or like try something like this so that they can have a chance at their big moment. I've solved a lot of issues with this, and I hope I can really kind of just explain the process and convey it to you in a good way that somebody can take this and somebody can blow up on YouTube or something. That is the goal of this. Like, it would be nice for me to do that too, but it would be a shame to see this idea go to waste. So that's why I'm making this video. So let's jump into the trading strategy and the account logic and how I scaled this all up and certain problems you might run into and all this other stuff. It's not really going to be too structured. I'm going to try my best to explain everything as much as I can. If I miss stuff, I can like make tutorials later on how like I did little stuff like how I scaled up my operation. How did I scale up account creation? How did I deal with Jagex false banning? How did I deal with there's other things that came up that were super interesting. Like if you try to make too many accounts and Jagex flags your IP and then they like block you periodically, and then I was having like panic attacks and not knowing what to do or what to wait for and stuff like that. There's a lot of little nuances. So if people do have questions about this, you can leave comments below and I'll try to answer them as well. Or I'll make other videos if you want something to further explained, like how to run 50 accounts at the same time or something like that. Here we go. So starting this off, I started with one free-to-play trader, which if you look up Ojama Garrett's on my main channel, free-to-play trader, I made a tutorial on how to build one from scratch, one method. It isn't my most efficient method now, but it will get you started, and it is pretty efficient, okay? And there's not a lot of investment. So, free-to-play trader, okay? And you got 3 slots. Runes. That stands for runes, sorry. This should be like earth or something. Yeah, 3 slots. Earth, fire, air, or water, whatever. You know, there's a lot of, just take your pick, experiment a little bit. It's not going to be too hard, but just for this example, we're going to do just fire runes. Okay, so what I did, just fire runes, air runes, and earth runes, I get at least 30K. Sometimes it's lower, most of the time it's not, but most of the time it's a lot higher than this, okay? So 30K a day times 7 equals 210K, okay? Now, if I gave that account 4 mil, roughly, I'd only have to log in once a week for 3 weeks, and then I'd have to refill on the 4th week. Logging in took me about 10 seconds, and a refill takes about 2 minutes. So, breaking this down, that's 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then 2 minutes. So 2.5 minutes to make 210. Oh, wait. 210K times 4. So sorry. 210,000 times 4. If I mess up the math below or anything like this, then feel free to call me out and correct it for anybody watching this. So we got 840K in 2.5 minutes. So how many 2.5 minutes are in an hour? 24 times 840K. You get the idea, okay? So in a free-to-play account, just getting the trade restrictions off and trading the high-volume items. And if this comes out, and this might... Another reason why I didn't want to like release this is this might make the method more difficult because it's going to increase competition in the space. But still, it's going to get... Maybe it won't, and maybe the sheer volume of what this project turns into might deter people. So if you want to make a little bit of money, this works. You know, one account, effective profit, 20 mil per hour. Okay, you're only getting 840k a month. So 840k divided by 4 times 52. Whoops. Times 52. It turns into, I thought about this a lot in years. So we got 10.9 mil per year. So per year you can make 10.9 mil off one free-to-play account. Okay, so that's like out of the year. So you know, like, it is 20 mil effective profit per hour, but one account is locked by that. But now let's take that times 10. Now you're making, with 10 free-to-play traders that require 2.5 minutes per account per month. So now you have 25 minutes per month. Will net you 109 mil a year. Okay, that's 10. So this is 1, 10, 100. I think you see where I'm going. And then if we get to 100, 1 bill per year. Now, 100 accounts. Seems kind of freaky, right? Well, it is, but it ain't. Once you start making the accounts, you get trading. It is pretty easy. So, if you run one account at the fastest I've been able to run one account, one free-to-play account, was 20 minutes. I'm sure you can do it faster, and that's from like a creation all the way to boxing / splashing. Okay, 20 hours of that, but that's no effort. You can literally just leave your computer on and then splash and get the nerd timer, or 6 hours, and that's super easy. So you get 20 minutes per account, which means you're looking at 2,000 minutes to get 100 accounts online. Okay. What 33.33 hours. That's not a lot. That's a decent grind. That's an easy grind for most RuneScape players. But like getting into this, maybe starting with 100 just to see if it's like for you or not, would be a good idea, because it does get tough. It gets pretty brutal. This is when I now add more accounts to my pool. This is brutal. So before we move on, actually, I think we should go back to the goal, which is to reiterate we need to make 100 billion gold. So I think that's right. So we got 100,000. 100 mil, 100 bill. Okay. And if you were going to make it off 100 accounts, it would take you 100 years. Okay. So we're going to need a lot more. So 100 years is too long. So if we go to 500 accounts, it'll only take you 20 years to make 100 bill. Sorry, I'm going through my processes at work randomly. So 20 years is still too long for this. RuneScape will probably be a deader game, or the gold will be so inflated out that 100 bill isn't as big, and so then you'll have to adjust it for the future. But like, so I need this done quick. Okay, so we are at 500. I want this done in 2 weeks, which means I need to take that 500 and I need to turn it into 5,000. Okay. You can see this is getting a little insane. Like, for instance, if we were going to make 5,000 accounts, it's going to take us 100,000 minutes. I'll do anything for you. Which is 666 hours. To put it in perspective, we're going to work 8 hours a day. That'd take us almost a year straight. Or 2/3 of a year. Which some people have that time, but working full time, I don't really have that time. But I was going for 10,000. That was my march. I got to roughly 750 before. Now, I mean, like, I've been working on it for a couple years, but a lot of this, I can tell you now, 20 20 minutes is the time it takes to run one account, but because of batch processing and scale, and the economies of scale, I have gotten each account down to 6.5 minutes. So if you wanted to make 1,000 accounts, or 10,000 accounts, it'd only take you 65,000 minutes today, because of all the things that I've done to optimize my runs, optimize my hardware, optimize my setup, optimize, and iterate, and iterate. But there's the gist of it. So if you get 10,000 accounts, and it takes 2.5 minutes. Oops, sorry, 2.5. The things I haven't solved is like, how are you going to do the labor of maintaining? So 2.5 minutes times 10,000. How are you going to split that up into a week? You have 3,000. If it takes you 2.5 minutes per account per month, it's not a week. Sorry. 10,000 times 2.5 into a month. So it's 30 days. Yeah. 833 minutes. Yes. 833 minutes a day. Which is still impossible. So this is where we're running into issues. We would be able to handle this phase, but as soon as it came to refill, we would run into issues. But we only need 5,000 to do it in 2 years. With 10,000 accounts, this is kind of fun. 10,000 accounts times 30K, 300 mil in a day. I think once you get up to 10,000 accounts too, the other things that I could imagine we could run into for a problem would be market manipulation, maybe getting banned for that, or just influencing the market so much to the point where you'd get major diminishing returns. Plus, also, we have another issue here too. 10,000 accounts requires 4 mil per account. So you need 40 bill up front to finance this operation. Now, how I've gotten through that is just by building up to it. I mean, you've probably maybe seen my cash stack in another video, but on my 750 accounts. Yeah. You know what I mean? It progresses. So this is a good strategy for people just looking to make extra money. And then if you take it all the way, you know, you scale it up, you get money, you make accounts, finance the accounts, use the money to finance the accounts, use the money from financing the accounts to add new accounts, and then just constantly like and that's why it took me years. Plus also, what took me years too was figuring out the most optimal methods, because it was like reinventing the wheel. There's like little optimizations and stuff. Because playing on one account, like there's a lot of information for how to optimize playing on one account, like 2-ticking and stuff, but there was not any information on how to optimize playing 50 accounts. So I had to invent those methods myself. But I think that's enough to explain for somebody to use this idea and to kind of get into it. If anybody's interested, just leave a comment below or something like that on how to get 20 minutes to 6.5. Oops, sorry. In account creation. This took a lot of mental energy to try to remember all this type of stuff, so this isn't presented the best. But hopefully I conveyed the message. My bad delivery aside, I just want to reiterate one more time for this video that if you do this, if you somehow got $20,000 worth of RuneScape gold and you had a giant drop party, you advertised for it, you hyped for it, you will become the #1 RuneScape player. It probably would cause enough buzz to generate like media attention and gain more mass appeal. You would, if you were able to have a YouTube account ready to go and be that player, you would garner an audience. An audience would come running because this is a 1-for-1 formula to Mr. Beast's method. It's just in a virtual space where there is more opportunity to work harder and make more money. It's not like the world where the government is like licensing and you're locked behind all these paywalls like college and stuff like that. RuneScape is one of those games that has potentials for exponential growth if you just solve the puzzles in the game. And again, I'm like, my brain's a little fried from trying to explain all this in a way that's like kind of makes sense. So I'm sorry about the delivery. If like I said, just please ask me questions below if you have any. I'd like somebody to take this idea and I'd like them to run with it, and I'd like them to be able to, you don't need to credit me or anything, I just want to see it help people. Or like I said, my dream would be that this would be used to create the biggest drop party ever, and to just celebrate what RuneScape is, and it would be one of my dreams to be a part of one of the greatest events in RuneScape history, because RuneScape has made me, like, it has a direct influence, like a large piece of the pie of why I am who I am today, and I am happy with who I am today. And so I'm very thankful for RuneScape, and thank you very much. I hope you have a nice day, and I'm sorry this was a crappy presentation. I could have done better, but it was a lot. I don't know, it seems like it's not that much until you start talking about it, but yeah, I'll stop droning on. Have a nice day.